Welcome to this video. My name is Hannes Knechtges. I thought it would be a good idea to show you some stuff for the more advanced players. Probably you've learned already some chords, you can play some strumming patterns, you can play songs, and now you want to make some bigger steps, go to like kind of soloing and stuff. And this is a very good idea because I'm about to show you something very important that you need to understand and that you need to learn to play a decent solo. Before we start out, I want to make sure that you know that I have a totally free ebook that you'll find in my video description. It's no strings attached. You don't have to put your email in there or something like this. Ton of information you will find there, and it's a lot of fun to check that out. Now I will show you what you will learn in this video. Yeah, now you might think, okay, this is just a scale. I've learned that scale, but I will tell you and give you details that you will need to play that scale decent and to play it in a musical way when you're playing a solo, because there are a lot of things to discover when you're playing a solo and to take a look at when you're playing a solo. But first, let's check out the scale, and it's called the G major scale, and we start with the middle finger on the 3rd fret of the E string. And now there comes the first, I would say, for some players, a problem that you need to use your pinky, which goes to the 5th fret of the E string. So we have 3, 5, and then we go to the A string, 2nd fret with the index, 3rd fret with the middle finger, and 5th fret with the pinky again. So we have 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. On the D string, we use index in the 2nd fret, ring finger in the 4th fret, and the pinky in the 5th fret. We repeat that on the G string, so it's 2, 4, 5 on the G string too. Then we go with the middle finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, 5th fret with the pinky, and on the E string we go to 2nd and 3rd fret with the index and middle finger. Let's go through it again from the top. So 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5, 3, 5, 2, 3. And you can go that backwards by just going again to the 2nd fret on the E string and then 5, 3 on the B string, 5, 4, 2 on the G string, 5, 4, 2 on the D string, 5, 3, 2 on the A string, and 5, 3 on the E string. Now it's really important that you make sure that you know where to go. The scale is kind of like your alphabet when you want to do sentences later in your solo playing or make something that you might think is musical and stuff, but first you really have to know your scale. Your fingers must be trained to do those motions here, and you must know which notes are allowed when you're playing a G major scale. When your fretting hand is ready for that and you really know where to go, make sure that your hand position is correct. Please make sure that your thumb is somewhere on the back of the guitar, like something like this. Let me show you. And you have a very straight underarm and wrist here. Not something like this, I would say. Try to be as efficient as possible. Don't do something like this or something. Your fingers need to have room to make all those big stretches here. And this might be uncommon for your hand at the beginning. Then you just do downstrokes, please. Only do downstrokes. And the thing is now, when we leave the E and the A string, for example, I touch with my picking hand slightly, just the strings I don't want to hear anymore. So when I'm on the D string, I mute the E and A string with my hand. I'm lying on the strings actually. Then I move on. I also lie on the D string now. You hear it's muted. And I play the G string, and so on. I always move along with my hand to make sure I mute the strings that I don't actually need at that very moment. When I go back, you see how my picking hand moves up again And this will need some time that you just mute the strings you don't need. Muting is so important in this because when you hear that? There's not only sounding the note I just want here in that very moment, I also hear the strings that I left. And this is not something very nice. So this is important when you learn scales and when you want to play a decent solo, make sure you also mute strings and notes that you don't want to hear. Moreover, it's important to check your technique. Take a look at my fingers here. It's kind of like they're lined up in a way, always ready to play the next note. And don't do something like this. Again, do a dry exercise and do it like this at the beginning. Just really focus on one hand after the other. Don't go too fast and do two things at once. It will confuse you. Just make sure you develop a decent technique. And then the next exercise is play it like this and not like this. Don't only play it staccato, but also legato. Just make sure you are capable of doing both styles. It's called phrasing, how long lasts a note until you play the next one. And this has nothing to do with tempo, by the way. We can do that in the same tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see, there are a lot of things to consider when playing a scale. You can play them in really different ways. You can play them in a clean way and make sure you have everything going, because it might confuse you and you think, oh, I suck at guitar playing, and it might just be that there are strings ringing throughout that you don't want to ring throughout. And the big question is, what do I do with the scale? I mean, if you want to improvise on a solo, there's a big tip I want to give to you, and we will talk about this in another video. What do you do with the scale? I see most players just play something like this. When they have a scale ready, whatever scale, doesn't matter which one, just going it up and going down again, fast, slow, whatever, and they really don't have no clue what to do. A great tip that I got from my teachers was play melodies that you know. I don't know, for example, something like this. And then you can play it with different techniques in terms of phrasing. You can play it like, or you can play it. And now you see you can do very musical things in an easy way. I just only used notes that are within this major scale we just learned. So this is a thing, if you play a solo and you think, oh, this doesn't sound very good, try to think in melodies. This is a very good and musical thing to do, because you also will find out, if you just try to hum or sing along to your solo when you play it, that you will run out of air. That's a good idea to make rests and to play nothing at all for a moment, so your phrase becomes alive in a way and it makes sense. What can you do with a scale? I mean, you probably learned at least one scale if you're watching this video. If not, you probably learned a lot of scales already, or maybe just one or two, whatever. It doesn't really matter, because this video is about what to do with a scale when you learn it. You want to improvise, you want to play a solo, and you just don't know how to play cool solo. And I think it's a good idea to play melodies. But what melodies? There's an easy answer for that. I think it's a good idea to play melodies that you already know, because it helps you to develop your technique and not only playing your scale like this. Up and down. Boring. And I think it's a way better idea to use your scale in this kind of way. Or just played some easy melodies within the G major scale right now. And I just wanted to show you that there's so much more than just playing a scale up and down, and that it's an easy thing for you to play, and there are so many things that you can learn from a melody. When you play a melody and you just try to hum, you could just sing it without playing the guitar actually, by just checking out da, 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 da. You need to breathe, and this is a sign that you might do a pause on your guitar too when you're playing along with this. It's like da, 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 da. And this gives you the sign, okay, maybe this phrase is over, let's give it a break, and then we start with a different phrase. You get the idea. This is a really cool tool to use your scale in a musical way. And I would like you to check out one melody that you probably know. I chose that melody because a lot of people might know it, and it's important that you know the melody that you try to play within this scale now, because it's supposed to be in your ear, that you really can focus on that melody and really dig into this scale. And we start with this. Okay, let's check out the scale first again. Just okay, everything clear so far. So we start with our melody. My Body is Over the Ocean. Pretty easy melody, pretty common, but this is really cool because we have some really fancy intervals going on here that are probably for beginners not that easy to play. We start in the 5th fret of the A string with the pinky, and then we go to the 4th fret of the G string, and then to the 2nd fret of the G string. So we have 5, 4, 2, and then you start doing this, and you will see it's pretty hard to do this string skipping. We jump over the D string from the A string to the G string, and first get used to that kind of interval. And you already see this has nothing to do with just playing a scale up and down again. This already sounds like something musical. So we have 5, 4, 2, and then 5th fret D string, again 2nd fret G string, and 5th fret D string again. So it's 5, 4, 2, 5, 2, 5. And again from the top. 5, 4, 2, 5, 2, 5, 5, 4, 2, 5, 2, 5. And I told you already in a video before that you can play your melodies in certain styles. Play staccato or legato. Staccato again. You get the idea. You can play your melodies in so many different ways. And now we have those first 6 notes. Then it goes on with 2nd fret D string, 5th fret A string, and 2nd fret A string. So the whole thing, 5, 4, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2. Everything with downstrokes, please. So again, 5, 4, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2. Again, 1, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2. This is part 1. Then part 2 is a little bit different. Starts again with the 5th fret A string, 4th fret G string, and 2nd fret G string. So this is the same. 5, 4, 2, and then we have 5, 5 on the 5th fret of D string, twice. 5, 5, 4, 5. Everything going on the D string. So 5, 5, 4, 5, and then the final note of the second part is 2nd fret G string. So it's the second part is 5, 4, 2, 5, 5, 4, 1 and 2 after each other. 5, 4, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2. And second part. 5, 4, 2, 5, 5, 4, 5, 2. Then we repeat part 1. 5, 4, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2. Now the last part. Okay, the last part goes like 5th fret A string, then 2nd fret D, and after that 2nd fret G string. So 5, 2, 2. We roll over here with this, with the index finger. 5, 2, 2. Then back to the 5th fret of the D string. So it's 5, 2, 2, 5. Then 4, 2, 4, 5. Everything on the D string. Again. 5, 2, 2, 5, 4, 2, 4, 5. Again, the last part. 5, 2, 2, 5, 4, 2, 4, 5. Okay, from the top. I mean, really make sure to understand that this is all G major. It's all within the tones that the notes that we learned within this scale. And this is the cool thing. I mean, you see, we don't have to use all the notes from a scale when we play a solo. Just pick some of them and play something beautiful like this melody. And also playing those big interval jumps, those jumps like the very first 2 notes. It's a pretty big jump. It's a major 6 interval. This already sounds cooler than just... This can also be cool, just playing a straight scale. But we start with 5, 4, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2. Second part now. 5, 4, 2, 5, 5, 4, 5, 2. And again the first part. 1, 5, 4, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2. And the last part. 5, 2, 2, 5, 4, 2, 4, 5. When you got that melody, I mean, you can also do just dry exercise to really focus on it if you have trouble jumping over the strings and skipping strings and stuff like this. Only play with downstrokes from in the beginning, because you're supposed to just focus on the material that you're about to play. And now the thing is, I mean, you can play it, as I said before, this is the easiest thing to do in terms of phrasing. Just play it in the short notes. Or you play long notes. This is harder because your fingers need to stay on the notes for a longer time, but this is something you should do consciously. Don't do it by accident, just do it. Try also to be able to play. And then you can do something else. You can just, for the sake of practice, just slide into every note from 1 fret below. Seems to be a bit silly, but it's supposed to give you an idea of what you can do within a solo. Pretty funny. You get the idea. Always start from 1 fret below where you're supposed to go, then this is just an idea to get you used to those kind of techniques, playing slides all the time. If you're playing a solo, you don't do that all the time. You could, but it's probably cooler to just... every once in a while, just slide into this. This is phrasing. And that way you get ideas what to do with your scale, what possibilities there are. Pippi Longstocking, I think it's called in English. It's pretty famous over in Germany and it originates from Sweden, I guess. But I think this melody is so much fun because it always makes me smile because it's such a funny melody to play. And it's cool to understand what you can do with the scale when you're playing a solo. What intervals are, what phrasing is and stuff. This is important stuff that you will need to learn when you want to play a decent solo. So let's check out the basics. It's about a G major scale in this very case. It's one of the most important scales you should learn besides the pentatonic because you can use it in so many occasions. Okay, it's not only this melody you can play tons of melodies with this scale, and this is a good tool to understand and to learn how to play a decent solo. If you're playing a melodic solo and it's not crazy fast or something, this is a good way to really dig into the world of solo playing, just playing beautiful melodies because they will stick in the listener's ears. And I think it also develops your techniques in terms of how to stretch your fingers and where to place them and play certain intervals and play certain ways of phrasing and stuff. So let's check out the melody. We start on the 5th fret of the A string with the pinky and we jump to the 5th fret of the D string in the 5th fret. And then the ring finger goes to the 4th fret of the G string. Then we go back to the 5th fret of the D string. So it's 5, 5, 4, 5. And start doing this in this staccato style. Might be pretty unusual for you to use your pinky and your ring finger there. Also make sure to, after you played that very note, to mute it by just lifting your finger a tiny little bit so the note dies. So these are the first 4 notes. And the 5th note is in the 2nd fret of the G string. So 5, 5, 4, 5, 2. Again, 5, 5, 4, 5, 2. Get that done. And then it goes like this. So we have this more or less fast run. I play everything with downstrokes, by the way. It's 5th fret G string, 4th fret, 2nd fret G string, with pinky, ring, index, and 5th fret D string, and then 4th fret D string with the ring finger. So from the top, 5, 5, 4, 5, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4, and again from the top, 5, 5, 4, 5, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4, and again, and really make sure you use your pinky and your ring finger and do not only use your index or something like this. So 5, 5, 4, 5, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4. Then we go back to the 2nd fret of the G string, 5th fret A string, 4th and 5th string on the D string, and 4th fret G string. So in context. 5, 5, 4, 5, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4, 5. the first part. The second part goes kind of like the same. 5, 5, 4, 5, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4, 5. You only leave out the very last note. So it's when you have trouble with playing this, because you have to jump over a lot of strings here, just do a dry exercise with your grabbing hand first. You really need to make sure where to go. And my hand is kind of like at the back of the neck with the thumb. Really try to develop a technique here that makes you comfortable playing this. You see my fingers are kind of like lined up in a row to always be ready to play in the very fret. I mean, kind of like every finger has its own fret. It's like the pinky has the 5th fret, the ring finger has the 4th fret, the middle finger has the 3rd fret, and the index finger has the 2nd fret for his own. So really try to be clear with that. Try to play it as precise as you can, because technique is important here, especially when you want to play solo. A certain amount of technique is very useful for you to play a nice solo. And when you play that melody, again, I have the tip that you try to play it staccato. You know, play very short notes, but also play legato, long notes. That way you can make sure that you develop both techniques and are not playing one or the other by accident. And then I have another tip, just to practice some more phrasing. Slide into every note. This is kind of hard. But you get the idea. It's just a play to practice some phrasing and do it really conscious and not only just playing. You can do that, of course, with every scale you already learned. If you're probably already playing pentatonic, because most guitar players also know this scale, the pentatonic scale, you can do that with this scale, of course, too. I don't want to go into that much detail now concerning the pentatonic here. You get the idea on how to play a decent solo. You can practice your scales and really be able to play the notes in the right position, in the right way. But then you should stick, for my taste, to some more melodic playing by just playing melodies. You ask yourself maybe, what was that? That was just a normal major scale here. But I played it differently. I didn't play it like this. This sounds kind of boring, doesn't it? I played it like this. And so on. I didn't play it like in a straight way, just going note for note up the scale. I played in certain intervals, and I will tell you what interval that was. We start on the first note of the scale, the G, the 3rd fret of the E string. And then we don't go to the 2nd note of the scale, but we go to the 3rd note of the scale, which is here, in the 2nd fret of the A string. And after we did that, we go one step back, yes, on the 2nd note of the scale, because we started on the 1st, and then we go to the 3rd. Then we go to the 2nd note of the scale, then we go to the, yes, exactly, 4th step of the scale. So we have 1st note of the scale, 3rd note of scale, second note of the scale, fourth note of the scale. Do that for the sake of technique and for the sake of feeling. Only those four notes for now. Only downstrokes, please. 3, 2, 5, 3. 3, 2, 5. And take a look at my grabbing technique here. Pretty open. The thumb is kind of like at the back of the neck, so my fingers are able to stretch that far because they're kind of like all in a row lying on the strings, also to mute strings which are not supposed to sound. My index finger is kind of like lying on the top strings there, so that way those strings up here don't sound. And do that for a while to get used to that kind of technique. Then, so what should happen after that? We have 1, 3, 2, 4th step of the scale. Then we go, after we played the fourth note of the scale, to the third fret, third note of the scale, and then to the fifth step of the scale. So we have first note, third note, second note, fourth note, third, fifth. You know, I always jump from one point of the scale over one note to the next, which is 1, 3, then 2, 4, 3, 5, get the idea, 4, 6, and so on. So we move up the scale, but in a different way. So we have here the fourth note, and then going to the sixth note of the scale. So it's, in terms of frets, it's 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, and from the top. 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2. And then we go on, we go to the fifth, and then we play the seventh note of the scale, so it's 5, 4 on the A and D string. Then, and then we play second fret D string, which is 6th degree of the scale, and when we go to the 8th note of the scale, which is in the 5th fret of the D string. So we have in terms of frets, we play 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, and it goes on with 4, 2 on the D and G string. So it's 4, 2, then 5th fret D string, 4th fret G string. So 4, 2, 5, 4, 4, 2, 5, 4, 4, 2, 5, 4. Can we do it from the top? Let's do it. 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4. And then it goes on with 2nd fret G string, 5th fret G string, 4th fret G string, and 3rd fret B string. You see, I mean, this is so crazy to do if you've never done that, that you use your index, then the pinky, then the ring, and then the middle finger. So you're using index, pinky, ring, middle. This is kind of like a very good exercise for your hand to make sure your fingers are all independent. And we do it from the top. Then we go to the 5th fret of the G string, and then we roll over to the 5th fret of the B string with the pinky. And then 3rd fret B string, 2nd fret E string, 5th fret B string, 3rd fret E string, 2nd, 5th, and 3rd fret again. So from there we have, that was before, and then we have so 5, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3, 5, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3. From the top. 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4, 2, 5, 4, 3, 5, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2, 5, 3. That way you will train your hand and your scale in such a different way, and you can do that of course with any scale you like. If you already know the minor scale or something like this, all the modes. If not, no problem, just stick with this scale if you want to. That's totally fine, and you will have a lot of struggle probably if you have never done this before. So really do it as I told you before, just the first 4 notes or something like this. Really to get comfortable with this system. Just take small parts of the scale and try to play it until you're feeling comfortable with it. Then you take another 2 or 4 notes in there, and then you go on and on and on till you're at the other side of your neck. And important thing again is try to really get back with your thumb at the back of the neck to be able to stretch your fingers, and also make sure when you move along with your pick over the strings to mute the strings with your wrist that you don't really need with your palm here. And when I'm playing like the B and the E string, my hand is literally lying on the E, A, D, and G string. And when I go up, my hand also moves up. It's kind of like doing something like this while lying on the strings when moving down. That way I can make sure I mute the strings I don't need. So, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for checking out this cool stuff. It's a lot of fun if you get used to it. You will already feel probably some blood rushing through your hand here, because it's quite demanding for your hand also to do that. So make breaks, make a rest. You're feeling like stressed out within your hand, and don't hurt yourself, please. Don't forget to check out the free lessons for beginners that you will also find in the video description. Tons of cool lessons you will find there. Thanks for tuning in, guys. My name is Hannes, and we see us in the next video. Bye.